يا نفس إن لم تظفري لا تجزعي.
When we wake up in the morning, brothers and sisters, we wake up in the morning, we have to ask ourselves, where is our concern? What busies us? What makes our brain? What do we think about? What concerns us? What is of great concern? Is it this dunya and all its pleasures that are temporary? Temporary. They're going to go away, you're going to go away, everything's going to go away? Or is our concern for the hereafter and for its pleasures that will be eternal and everlasting? SubhanAllah, if anyone in the street, you say, listen, I give you something temporary you can enjoy, or I give you something everlasting. You think he's going to choose the temporary? Abadan, he's never going to choose that. But we, SubhanAllah, we're easily deceived by shaitan, easily deceived by this world that sometimes we give precedence. We prefer the temporary and we leave the everlasting. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, "Man kanat al-akhiratu hammahu." Whoever the hereafter is his concern. The hereafter is his concern. جَعْلَ اللَّهُ غِنَاهُ فِي قَلْبِهِ. Allah Jalla wa'ala will put richness in his heart. Meaning that the person who his concern is the hereafter, he will be at peace in his heart. Even if he has little, he will be satisfied with what he has. He will be content with what he has. He will feel that he is rich because he is close to Allah Jalla wa'ala. Then he said, وَجَمَعَ لَهُ شَمْلَهُ أي أُمُورَهُ. And Allah Jalla wa'ala will gather all of his affairs. What does that mean? We all have lots of things that we have to do. Allah is going to gather everything for you and He's going to make it easy for you. And He's going to take care of it. So whoever is concerned is the hereafter, Allah Jalla wa'ala will put richness in your heart and ease all your affairs. وَأَتَتْهُ الدُّنْيَا وَهِيَ رَاغِمَةٌ. And the dunya will come to him in a way humiliated, ذَلِيلَةٌ. What does this mean? This means that the servant, al-abd, all of us, we will never be deprived of what Allah has written for us in terms of rizq, in terms of sustenance in this dunya. And the obedience of Allah and the worship of Allah does not decrease the rizq. Never does the worship of Allah and His obedience going to decrease your rizq, your sustenance. Rather, ta'atullah, the obedience of Allah, is connected and is linked with your rizq being increased. SubhanAllah. Meaning that if you obey Allah, your rizq will be increased, not decreased. The Prophet ﷺ, he said in authentic hadith reported by Al-Bukhari, "Man sarrahu an yubsat lahu fi rizqi wa yunsa lahu fi athari falyasir rahimah." He said that whoever is happy for his rizq, his sustenance to be increased, and his life to be extended, his years to be extended, then he should maintain the ties of kinship. Maintaining the ties of kinship is what? Is ta'ah. It's an obedience. It's an act of worship. And look, this act of worship is connected to your rizq. That your rizq is going to be what? Is going to be increased. So the one who maintains the ties of kinship, his rizq is going to be what? Elevated, increased. And whoever does not, then his rizq will stay how it is. He will only get what Allah Jalla wa'ala has written for him. And then he says, after that, the Prophet ﷺ, so he mentioned the Prophet ﷺ, those who their concern is what? Is the al-akhirah. He said, وَمَنْ كَانَتِ الدُّنْيَا هَمَّهُ. And whoever, it's the dunya, that's his concern. Oh man, that's what he thinks about. Morning, nighttime, gotta make the money. It's in my head every time, 24/7. Jannah, nar, habibi. That's when I'm old. Now I'm young. Dunya, that's what I want. What did he say to the Prophet ﷺ? He said, جَعَلَ اللَّهُ فَقْرَهُ بَيْنَ عَيْنِهِ. Allah would put poverty between his two eyes. Meaning that he will only see with his eyes poverty. And he will tire himself to attain the dunya. Everywhere he goes, he always sees himself poor. He can have a big house, it's not enough. He can have a nice car, it's not enough. I'm poor. That one has more. That one has more. He always sees himself poor. Always sees himself poor. So he tires himself for the dunya. Because he only sees himself poor. Ma yartah, he doesn't feel peace in his heart. Like the other one. No. He's always seeing himself as poor. He sees poverty everywhere. وَفَرَّقَ عَلَيْهِ شَمْلَهُ. And Allah, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, and he will scatter his affairs. Meaning all his affairs, everything he has to do, Allah is not going to gather them and make it easy. He's going to scatter them. He's going to be running everywhere. وَلَمْ يَأْتِهِ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَا قُدِّرَ لَهُ. And he will only receive of the dunya what was written for him. He can exert himself, work 16 hours a day. He's only going to get of the dunya what Allah Jalla wa'ala has written for him.